Today I'll be reviewing Pokemon Journeys episode 45, Sword and Shield Part 4, The Ultimate Sword and Shield. So this episode was finally the end of the Galar story arc, and in this episode we finally get the evolutions we've been waiting for, with Goh's Cinderace or Goh's Raboot evolving into Cinderace, and the long-awaited Ash's Riolu evolving into Lucario. This is something we've been waiting for since the Gen 3 movie, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. And then we saw Ash with Lucario in the Gen 4 anime. And now it's finally a reality. But let's talk about the actual episode. So in this episode, Ash and Goh team up with Zacian and Zamezenta, just like in the games, to take on Eternamax Eternatus. So the episode starts with Meowth rampaging until Jesse and James remind him of the mission from Giovanni. So then they decide to go after Eternatus, and so does Leon, who tries to Gigantamax, but can't because Eternatus is taking up all the Galar particles to fire off its attack, which leads to Meowth also losing its Gigantamax form. I really wanted to see Meowth pull off its attack, its G-Max attack, but it looks like we won't be getting that in this arc. So after that we see Ash battling Chairman Rose and Goh battling Oleana, and Ash comes up with a strategy to use offense and defense, and Goh, who's also struggling, decides that he'll stick with Raboot and Ember since they promised they would only try to win with Ember. And while that's going on, Leon is battling Eternatus, and it uses Eternamax Cannon, and the shockwave from that attack sends Pikachu flying. So Riolu has to fight alone, and it ends up taking 2 attacks from Ferrothorn and Copperajah, leading to its evolution. Meanwhile, Goh and Raboot come up with a strategy to use Ember by jumping off the walls, and then Raboot evolves and learns Pyroball. And I really like how they both evolved at the same time. Maybe if we didn't see this earlier, it would have been an even greater moment, but it was still great nonetheless. So right away we see that Ash and Lucario already have a strong connection, since Ash can already read its aura, and knew that Lucario wanted it to use Aura Spear, and with it they defeat Chairman Rose. And we also see Goh and Cinderace defeat Oleana with Pyroball. And I really like how Raboot, when it evolved into Cinderace, switched back into its personality it had while it was a Score Bunny. So it's not still the edgy Pokemon it was before. And I think this will make them even better partners going forward. So after that we see Raihan defeat the Marcos Cosmos employees, for Sonia of course. Then Ash and Goh head to the top of the power plant and react to each other's Pokemon evolving, which was pretty cool. And the new main trio gives each other high fives, and this would have been a great trio of Pokemon for Ash to have. But Goh having Cinderace is still pretty cool. So after that, Leon tries to catch Eternatus with an Ultra Ball, but that doesn't work, and Charizard is defeated, and Eternatus turns into its Eternamax form. So then Lucario, Pikachu, and Cinderace try and attack, but that doesn't work at all. So Eternatus ends up striking back with Eternabeam, knocking them all down. Then Sonia shows up to meet Leon, who wants to battle, but he can't, and Ash and Goh pick up the Sword and Shield and decide to become the Legend. And they say they will protect the Galar, and I found it kind of weird that 2 people not from Galar are the ones protecting Galar in the anime version. But I guess they couldn't really get rid of Goh and add Hop, because that'd be weird. But that aside, Ash and Goh use the power of the Sword and Shield to summon Zacian and Zamezenta, and Sonia realizes that Zacian and Zamezenta are the Sword and the Shield in the Legend. Then Zacian and Zamezenta use their signature moves, Behemoth Blade and Behemoth Bash, to push back Eternatus. And then Chairman Rose just loses it, and Ash and Goh decide to help out too, and they end up knocking Eternatus down. So then Goh tries to do the goat thing and try to catch it, and so he and Ash work together to throw the Dynamax ball and catch it. So I'm wondering if this is technically Goh's catch, since it registered in his Pokédex and it was his Pokeball, but either way they don't end up keeping it in the end. We also see that Zacian and Zamezenta leave. Then we see all the Gigantamax Pokemon turning back to normal. Then Sonia and Leon say Ash and Goh are the heroes who saved Galar, but they say it was Zacian and Zamezenta. Then we see Sonia talking to Professor Magnolia later on, and we find out that Chairman Rose has gone missing and Eternatus has been sealed underground. Thankfully, Goh doesn't get to keep it. But Magnolia also says that it's possible that it may reawaken later, which is probably foreshadowing. She also says that they need to make countermeasures, and that they'll need Sonia, who is now a professor. I wonder if they'll find some way to include Eternatus when they revisit Sinnoh for the Sinnoh remix. I say that because I think Eternatus is one of the 1000 arms of Arceus that created the universe, but that has yet to be proven. So the episode ends with Ash and Goh returning the Sword and Shield. I really enjoyed this arc from start to finish. It progressively improved throughout the entire arc, and seeing it end with 2 evolutions and Ash and Goh becoming the heroes of Galar was pretty great. The highlights of this episode were clearly the 2 evolutions, Ash getting the long-awaited Lucario and Goh getting Cinderace, and then their battle with Eternamax Eternatus and them teaming up with Zacian and Zamezenta. Not to mention them catching Eternatus. So in my opinion, this episode was a 10 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and bye.